So I had this really cool dream last night. I can't really describe the events, I can't really describe what really happened, but it felt like I went through a challenge. It felt like everything that happened to me was something that happened to me and I did at the same time. When I woke up, there was a lot of things that felt super weird. Like life was trying to pull me in a certain way, what I should be doing, and at the same time it was clear that there was something that I wanted to do. So it was like life was happening, but I was also happening. And it was like one thing that wasn't separate. You know, it's really all just fuzzy. It's like I don't really know what happened. All I remember is I completed something. And I remember coaches, instructors, or the equivalent of what a drill sergeant would be yelling at me. And then at some point it just became quiet. I remember there were no more voices. I got to see the perspective of the people watching me. I got to see the perspective of myself going forwards. And I got to see the perspective of it all happening at once. But it's weird because we live our lives with one perspective, so I don't really know how to describe this. But I wanted to share this. You know, what if life was really just something that happened, where we get to make the decisions, but things still happen to us? Not to say that our choices are useless, but to say that it's like a game where you only get to pick your choices. The execution portion of it, you may tell yourself, is fully in your control. But every single decision you make in that moment is really just you making choices and the execution happening. The feeling I got from this dream was like there was a string pulling me in a certain direction. The voices that were yelling at me, telling me to keep going, telling me not to quit, telling me to put more in, eventually shut up. And at some point, they were just watching, while this force felt like it was pushing me forwards. But at the same time, I had the feeling that I was the one pushing myself forwards. It was like there was a string that was pulling me, but I was the guy who was pulling the string. It's like there was a force in front of me, like if there was a carrot on a stick. The carrot was pulling the string, but I was the carrot, and I was the horse. And what I got out of this, I think, is life is gonna have a certain way for us to live it. The string that everybody has is gonna be different. Everybody's gonna live their life differently. We're gonna think that life is gonna happen to us, and it probably is. But what if we were that string, that life that's pulling us forwards? But at the same time, the person that's feeling that pull? What if this whole time, it wasn't that we were separate from our experience to see it, we are both the experiencer and we are the puller? You know, I guess the best way to look at this is like a sled pull. Dogs that are able to pull a sled, but in this instance it was like the dogs pulling the sled was the same as the person riding it. And this force is what I think drives us forwards. It's our natural state. It's what we try to avoid. And I think that because we hide from this force, because we don't let this force pull us, and we push away from this force, we aren't able to figure out what it is or where we want to be. For the longest time, I haven't really known what I want to do. I don't know where I want to lead my life. I picked my career based on money. I picked my career based on talents of what I had previously. I became a code monkey because I grew up with computers, but I haven't really known what I wanted to do. I just kind of did it. And I don't mean to say that we can just let life carry us where it needs to be. I mean, because some of us may be too heavy for the dog to pull the sled. Maybe we need to help the dog out. Maybe we need to make sure we're not causing negative force that pulls away from where the dog is pulling the sled. Now, I don't really know still what exactly I want to have in my career. I don't know where I want to take my life. But I can tell you that every single day I want to be a better person. I can tell you that every single day I want to be a stronger and wiser Adam than I was yesterday. And to wake up to this, to go to sleep to this is empowering. This is something I can go with. This is something that'll pull me. You know, maybe that string is actually just our purpose. And it's not that we have to find our purpose. It's that we have to understand we are the reason we're pulling away from that purpose. And for whatever reason, we have decided to hide from it. We have decided to deny it. We've decided to take up other things in life. And that's not to say it's wrong, because life is all about experiencing things. But if you wanted to live out what you wanted, what you truly want, and that purpose is exactly what it is we want, we just keep hiding from it, then the only thing we can do is figure out what's stopping us, what's creating that force, what's stopping us and stopping that dog from pulling the sled. It's very useful for us to know that all we need to do is figure out what these counteractive forces are. And if we actually want to live what we want, all we have to do is remove those counteractive forces so that the dog can pull our sled, so that we can be there for the ride or to help the dog out.